Welcome to Yank Your Mets, the podcast that covers all things Yankees and Mets, often down the middle, sometimes just a bit outside. I don't even know what that means. I'm your host, Phil Wolf.
Many
I'll
times.
be your Yankees fan for the remainder of the program. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host. It's not Keith Hernandez. It's not even Keith Richards. It's Chad, Mr. Met Boston. Chad, good to see you. How are you?
I am spectacular. How are you?
I'm doing okay. This is a remote recording this week. I'm in Jersey visiting some of my wife's friends. So this is why I'm no longer in my living room. So we'll see how this sounds.
It's going to sound amazing.
It's going to sound great, but happy to be here doing this with you because, we don't want to miss a week. The fans demand and
The
demand that we do this.
Legions of fans.
Legions of fans are just hot to trot for our takes.
Yeah.
So we're here to give it to them.
Internet is thirsty.
It's been a pretty wild week for our two respective teams. So let's jump right into our week in review, brought to you by the great folks at 522 Productions. 522, make shift happen. Chad, the Mets, this is kind of taking it back a couple of weeks maybe because the numbers are just a little bit alarming.
A little bit?
They've won 3 out of their last 16 games.
That's not
So
good.
I'll let you kind of take it from there.
You do not want me to take it from there. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to be said. And it's because you hear it everywhere. Every day there's something new. It's the bullpen blowing it, the offense not hitting, it's a pitcher never making it past 6. Or barely into the 5th on many occasions. Their pitching staff is just worn out, and their bullpen subsequently is worn out. And I'd like to say that like all good teams go through this, but this is getting a little alarming. It's now just a lot of games that they're losing in batches, so it's been rough. Especially with. But also, in a weird way, I'm not surprised. This is sort of like just the very Metsy thing to do. Go out, get the big free agent, have all the expectations, and then just kind of, not really come through. So I'm not surprised, unfortunately.
I like to tune into some Mets games, and I feel like the last 2 I saw just kind of blow my mind a little bit. And
Which ones did you have the pleasure of watching?
Well, the ones where they started out, they blew that 6-run lead.
With David Peterson.
With David Peterson on the mound, and that's the guy that we've said it before. If you're going to count on one of your starters to give you length, to give you 6+ innings, it's David Peterson.
That's my guy.
They jump out to a 6-0 lead against the Braves, a team that is just giving them trouble, whether they're good or bad. I mean, playing in Atlanta is a house of horrors, but they were at home for this. So you think 6-0 lead, they're probably in a good spot. They blow it, and I think there's something to, when your offense produces, and the Mets have had offensive struggles, especially given the top of their lineup, when your offense gets you that lead, and then you give it up, and you know that your bullpen hasn't been playing well, there's got to be some sort of, there's a lot of mental juggling there, and I think it must have just felt overwhelming for a team that says, hey, we've finally put up the numbers, and there's now you expect us to come back from this? Like, it's just, it feels insurmountable.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially the day before when they run out of fireworks, because they were hitting so many home runs. They're like, okay, we're back home. We're getting to the vibes. I mean, everybody's hitting home runs. Francisco Alvarez has been the lone bright spot for this team, and it's just like it's the most Mets thing to do. Come back out the next day after a good win where you're like, okay, let's turn the page. We went into Milwaukee. We got smoked there. Walk-off home run against Diaz. Whatever. It's like the first earned run he gave up since April, so I'm not too worried about that. Get the big win, and then come out like that on what was it, Wednesday, to just crap away a 6-run lead at home with your team's ace. I mean, with the all-star. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get smoked, and not even make it interesting. It's like they just give up 9 runs in 1 inning, which you're not going to win if you're doing that. And 6-0 turns into 9-6 and dead in the water. Yeah, I mean, because every all the Fab Four trying to hit a grand slam with nobody on base, like every at bat, and they were starting to treat it like every at bat is rock and jock, like 5 run home run, 6 run home run, trying to get and it's everybody's pressing, and it rarely works out when everybody's pressing, and
Yeah.
everybody's either waiting for the next guy to step up when they fail, but it's just aggravating to watch that.
Yeah, and it's got to be hard. I mean, the one player a lot of Mets fans I hear kind of jumping on is Juan Soto, and I feel like there's a lot of fair criticism there. He's getting the most money. He's the guy that you brought on to elevate your team to the next level. I mean, you're in the NLCS last year. You bring in a guy like Juan Soto. It doesn't always work out this way, but that should be the missing piece, right? I mean, one extra great bat, you take him from the Yankees, but of course you kind of let the pitching staff also go,
The
and
pitcher,
we've
yeah.
covered that. Like you can't just add Soto and like not re-sign these pitchers who are having success elsewhere. But Soto has not really been the same player. I think you can look at his numbers and say like he's having a pretty good season by average players' standards. He's got 30 home runs. He'll end up with 30 plus. He's slugging. His on base plus slugging is over 800, maybe 900. But he
Yeah.
Soto's superpower is his knowledge of the strike zone and being able to get on base. He is not, I think, the prototypical home run hitter, though he does hit home runs, and he has gotten on base, especially early in the season. He was working a lot of walks, but I feel like in those clutch moments, he just hasn't been the same player. And I looked
No.
this up, but with 2 outs, he's striking in 2024, in two
Yeah.
outs, he struck out 20% of the time. In 2025, he struck out 25% of the time. He's already matched his strikeout total with 2 outs, 34, and we have like a month and a half of the season left to go. Now that's only a 5% increase, but these are at bats that are in pivotal moments of the game that make the difference. I mean, you add 3 or 4 wins, and all of a sudden, like you're in a much different spot, right? And I think
Yeah.
he's got to be pressing a little bit. He's swinging at pitches that Soto doesn't typically swing at, like these low and outside pitches. He's just fallen over. I'm like, that's not the same guy I saw last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting pinched a little bit by the umps too. Like, I've seen some pretty wild calls, but at the same time, like Lindor struggled after he signed that contract. Beltran struggled after he signed that big contract. I think he's probably letting the pressure get to him, and that's understandable. And then next year in theory, he comes in, he has that much more knowledge of the team, the staff, everything. I'm not saying like, hey, look, he played for you guys for what, a year, and didn't seem to have issues. But
He didn't have an $800 million
there-
contract, also,
exactly,
which is,
yeah,
I think, the big
no,
differentiator there.
oh, of course. And I just think it takes a second to do that, especially when everybody expects you to come in, and now it's World Series or bust. So
Yeah.
if this team doesn't make the World Series, it's his fault for some reason. I think you can definitely, or should definitely, point at the starting pitching there, but that's a lot to put on one player, and especially like, again, I said it before, but it's like you add Soto, but you lost what Vientos did last year, and it's a kind of a swap in terms of the numbers. But that's that bat in the lineup that we didn't really gain that because we've lost what Vientos did in that lineup last year, and he was just clutch, and he
Huge down
provided
the
that extra
stretch.
pop. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean it, and we're not getting that, so we just kind of hot swapped it with worst starting pitching. And then the poor kids, none of them seem to want to take the job and run with it.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot. I mean, I told you last week I thought that both teams were sort of due for a turnaround just because I didn't think it could get any lower. And up until this last week, I think the Yankees have turned it around some, and we'll get to them in a moment. But the Mets just seem to find those ways to lose, and it's really frustrating. You mentioned it already. They come back the day after that win, they don't show up.
Yeah.
A tough series heading against Seattle. They lose the first game there. They bounce back and win the second one. Third game of that series is today, but you're just like, well, you got to build on these wins. You have to start stringing wins together. And so if they don't win this series with Seattle, who, to be fair, tough team in a playoff race, but the Mets should be a team that can handle the Mariners, and I mean, I'm pulling for the Mets. We need you to beat Seattle. Um, so we'll see how things go today. The Mets are in Williamsport, and I'm hoping that they can have a stronger finish because they're a tough team, and I think the Mets are trying. I mean, I don't think it's for lack of hustle or for lack of well, I mean, that's the criticism I hear of Juan Soto. He's won his World Series. He's gotten his contract. He's not trying. Like I don't really buy that.
No.
I don't think you can be the kinds of players that these guys are, the Lindors and Sotos of the world. These guys want to win. They want to play hard. I just think it's like the Boone mentality. Don't get too high, don't get too low, and like
Yeah.
trying to just. I mean, but I think at this point in the season, you got to have a little bit of an edge, and I think they're feeling it and they're pressing, and you're seeing the results play out.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting too. Like Lindor is slowly turning it on as well. And this is what he did down the stretch last year. And if he can just get back in his groove. I mean, that was quite a groove at the end of last year. But if he can get back in there, I'm feeling pretty good. Soto. I feel like year 2 is probably going to be his better year. Uh, Somehow he has 30 home runs. It's insane. And what was it?
Yeah.
23 of them are solo shots or something.
Yeah, something insane.
Something like over 20 of them are solo shots, and there's again less sort of thinking about it, just kind of reacting when there's nobody on, and it doesn't even matter how many outs there are. But yeah, he's definitely pressing.
Yeah. Well, I thought the Yankees were going to have a bounce back week, and they started to turn it around a little bit. And if there's ever a team to have a bounce back week, it's against the Twins.
Oh yeah,
Our numbers against the Twins are ridiculous. I think in the last, I don't know the exact number. I heard it, but like over the last 170 games, I think we've won 130 of them. I mean, it's something outrageous. And, the Twins know it. We know it. It's just one of those get right teams for us. And we win the first 2 games of the series. And I think I told you offline, it's like, it's the Twins. I want to be happy for the wins. We'll take the wins, but like, it's also the Twins. And if we don't beat them, it doesn't feel right. And then, of course, we drop the 3rd game of that series to their best pitcher, Joe Ryan, who, would be an ace, I think, on most teams. And whatever highs that we had, I think, from those first 2 wins, just immediately out the window with the Joe Ryan loss, because he's the type of pitcher that we're going to be facing in the postseason. If we can't beat good pitchers, it doesn't matter that we're beating up on all the bad ones, right? I mean, that's why I try not to get too high. So, by not beating Joe Ryan, I just kind of, I'll take the 2 out of 3, but I just don't know. I just didn't feel right to me. They still have so much to prove. They've beaten St. Louis now a couple of times, and they're also not a great team. Somehow still in the playoff picture in the National League. I don't know how, but like
neither do I.
These are not teams that we should be like fearful of, and yet like we have to come back and somehow find a way without, Ben Rice hitting 7 ribbies. Like we don't beat the Cardinals. Like I just don't, like, what is it, but that said, we've won 4 out of the last 5.
Yeah. That said, things are looking great.
We're great again.
Like no baseball team has ever gone 0 and 162 or 154 or any of that stuff. So these are professional players. You're not going to win every game. The best teams, like you win 100 games, you're still losing 62.
Yeah.
So I get it, but it's always about like just what a loss feels like. And yeah, when if you're the Yankees and you have the Twins on your schedule, of course you want to go. Like, okay, if we were going to get on, we need one of those, one of the Twins 10-game win streaks. Can we just take one, borrow one of those? You want to get on a roll. When you lose games like that, it hurts more mentally than anything. But 4 out of 5, that's not bad. That is not bad at all.
Not bad. And, we are getting healthier. Getting Judge back is good. He has not really been the same player since his return. But, of course, time off in a game like baseball is bound to mess up your rhythm a little bit. It's such a day in, day out game. He did hit a home run last night, so that's good to see. His average and his on base isn't where you'd like it to be, but it's really just about getting hot. Like at this point, I don't
Yeah.
care if he wins the home run crown, the triple crown. Like I just want him to be healthy. I'm still a little cautious about, forcing him back into the field too early. But for his part, Stanton's been done, a serviceable job in right field. And
Yeah.
I want to get to him later, but we've been finding ways to plug the holes. Yeah, our pitching has been pretty good. We've
Hmm.
seemed to kind of solidify the bullpen a little bit, so long as Devin Williams is not in high pressure situations.
Lock down the sixth. That's your job, guy. Like, lock down that sixth.
But isn't that an important inning too? I mean, we talk about our starters not
They're
being
all
able to
important.
go. Well, certainly, but I think it used to be, the Royals of 2015, and I hate to bring up that year, had eight,
Thanks.
7, 8, and 9 locked down after their
Oh,
starters,
yeah.
right? That was
Yeah.
their formula, and now we have to kind of throw the sixth inning in there as starters get pulled sooner and sooner. And if Devin Williams locks the sixth down with 1 inning, 3 Ks, that's great. Let him do it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, but nothing past the seventh.
Yeah. I mean, it is such a mental game. And whatever Boone needs to do to get back his confidence, because if you're making the playoffs, he's coming in a pressure situation. And you're gonna need him. If you're going deep in the playoffs, you're gonna need Devin Williams. And here's hoping it's not in too pivotal a moment. But you're gonna need him. And if Aaron can get his confidence back, that's just that much better. Because when he's on, and he can be lights out. And I mean, every team needs that in the playoffs.
Yeah. Speaking of bullpens, the Mets move Frankie Montas to the bullpen. Is that a move that you felt had to happen? I think there's talk about Clay Holmes maybe sort of backsliding to the
Yeah.
bullpen there, or if he hasn't already.
Yeah, no, based on last week, yeah, he's angling for that. Yeah, I mean, Clay Holmes just feels done. I mean, he's like, he can't. His stuff looks okay, but just he's not able to get through the lineups multiple times, and I mean, he can't even get through the first time around this go around. I just feel like, I mean, he's thrown so many more innings than he ever has. I think it's just, I wouldn't be disappointed if they slid him there. I guess that means Brandon Sproat comes up or move Frankie Montas back
Oh, ooh,
into the
I don't
rotation.
know.
I mean, Montas that was their Luis Severino gamble, and they struck gold on Sevy last year, but yeah, they did not hit. They hit sand on Montas, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's I put him back there. Sure, let's see if we can get something corrected. He's coming. He's going to fill the Hagenman role, where it's like you're not bringing him in unless it's 11-6, and you got to
Mhm.
just mop up an inning or two. I guess. I mean, I don't know where you put. He walks too many batters to put him in anyway. like
Yeah.
like it's. I don't. He's got to be in a blowout, win or loss, and
Yeah.
start from there.
That's got to be a tricky place to be in as a manager or a front office because your starting pitching is already depleted. And
Yeah.
now and your bullpen, which was supposed to be a strength, especially after the trade deadline, has not been what you'd want it to be. And it's the same thing for the Yankees. And so it's like, well, where do you really think the need is most? And it seems like the Mets have felt like moving pieces to the bullpen and bringing up the kids is the best way to go. And I would probably agree with that move because I think there's, bringing up a young player can rejuvenate a team. I think that youthful exuberance, and you want guys that can come up and prove themselves. And Nolan McLean did a great job in his debut. I think he pitched 5 1/3, 8 Ks, a few walks, only
Did
a
you see
couple of
that
hits.
behind the
But
back?
I
Did you see the
mean,
behind?
look, I didn't see it, no, but I buy it. I believe it. So was it a ground ball to him, and he just whipped it behind his back for an
Oh
out at
yeah,
first?
he like kind of followed through, bases loaded, Julio Rodriguez, and he made a behind the back play to turn it a double play.
Amazing,
It was
amazing,
slick. It was slick.
amazing. And had I seen it, I probably would have thought like that's the kind of play that turns a season around. Like you just never. It's
Yep.
sometimes in baseball,
Oh
it's
yeah.
that small, and as big of a play as that was, it's just one play, one pitch, one inning, one game. It can turn your whole season around. So it can happen at any time. And I had asked you last offline about who they're going to bring up, whether it's Sprode or McLean, and you were leaning towards McLean. Is there a case to bring Sprode up also, just because you're going to need arms in the rotation?
I think it's weird having to rely on two rookies. Like I am a little hesitant about that because both of them are now already getting towards their innings limit. So it's like you bring up Nolan McLean. There's a lot of adrenaline going yesterday. Okay, cool, big win. Now the games are really going to start to matter, and now this Nolan McLean's going to be in innings limits that he hasn't seen before.
Yeah.
It's gonna, so I'm hesitant, but I like it. I think that's usually the move is to bring him in, and I like when they put him in the bullpen, get them just used to MLB life, like expose them to what the day to day is. This is mid season. Sure, they've been to spring training, but just get them acclimated to what the travel's like and all that, and stick them in the bullpen for a couple weeks, or inning here, inning there, stretch them out. I mean, on the side or whatever. But I kind of favor that approach. But, these guys are starters, so they're used to, you don't want to totally break them out of their routine. I just have a hard time being like, okay, let's turn 40% of our rotation over to two rookies. Like that's a gamble. One, fine. And I guess if the alternative is Frankie Montas, okay, I'm all in. We got to go 40% of the rotation as rookies. It's such a hard thing for any organization because you're sitting there and you're like, okay, you want to take care of the individual player. You want to make sure that, they are doing well and, sticking to their thing and being who they are, and you got to take care of them. But at the same time, you're also trying to win games and you don't want to wear this guy out. So there's so many different things going on for these managers and executive staffs as to how to best bring in young players. And independent race is even harder.
Independent race and in New York, and that's something we've talked a lot about. I think you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't with some of these guys. I mean, I know the fans, for Yankees fans, are clamoring for us to bring up young talent when a team isn't playing well. Why can't we see Spencer Jones? Bring back Jason Dominguez before he was, a regular starter. And it's for those reasons. It's like you don't want to throw them in situations where their confidence can be shot, I think. And it might be different with pitchers because, like, so often, I feel like more often, the offense having to adjust to a pitcher they've never seen before is hard. Like a couple of times through, give him a couple of games and, teams will start to adjust. You start to get a book on him versus a batter who's like facing really hard pitching and just could be, raking in AAA and then all of a sudden can't lay off the hard stuff in the major league level and just shoots their confidence down. But McLean had a 2.78 ERA over 16 games, 13 starts. Like that's a guy with this team with the starting pitching deficits that the Mets have. You think we got to bring this guy up. We need something. And Sproat, had pitched well. I think of late. He had probably not had the same season overall, but 1.15 ERA over his last 7 starts. He's 4-0. So like give him a shot. I mean, I think baseball is very streaky like that. Get these guys in while they're playing well. And McLean, I think, has kind of earned another shot at it, like sort of like Schlittler did with the Yankees. Like keep him in until he proves he can't do it anymore.
Exactly. No, I mean, the Mets just need that injection in the starting rotation. I mean, hey, we rode young pitching in 2015. I'll take that again. We, with DeGrom, Syndergaard, the Dark Knight. I mean, it was, granted, I know McLean and Sprode have high ceilings, but they're not quite as high as those. But
those are pretty high ceilings.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely give them a shot, see what they got. Let's go for it.
If I were to ask you right now, I mean, the Mets are still in the playoff picture. Do you still think the Mets are a playoff team?
Man, I think it's 50-50 at this point. I do not have confidence. Only because it would be so Mets for the Reds to just sneak in.
And do you play the Reds again this year? at all? Do you see them again?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Oh wait, yes. Ooh, in Cincinnati,
Oh, that is
September
a
5th, 6th, and 7th.
oh man.
After coming from the Detroit. So we leave Detroit and then we go to Cincinnati.
Oh,
That's fun.
that's a stretch. That
And
is
then
a
go straight
stretch.
into a Phillies and then go straight into a 4-game Philly set in Philly.
Oof. And look, I think sometimes that could be a good thing. It's like you look at the strength of schedule. You don't want to, underestimate the bad teams, overestimate the good ones. It could be just the thing the Mets need to get it going. Like this is, these are pressure games. You got to win. But
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit's been great all year. Philly's been great all year. Cincy's just a really well managed team, like gritty
Yep.
baseball. So that those are very tough games.
All
Moving
on the
forward.
road.
All on the road. All on the road.
Which we are not spectacular at. What about you? August 17th, as of this recording, how are you feeling about the Yankees getting into the postseason?
I think the Yankees are going to make the playoffs. It's about how we're playing down the stretch. I don't think we're going to win the division. I'm tired of hearing fans continue to underestimate the Jays. Like we're in mid-August and they are just crushing people. I don't understand how people can still say, yeah, but the Blue Jays just aren't that good. They just hit. They just pitch. That's all
Up
they
and down the
do.
lineup. Yeah.
Up and down, 1 through 9. Addison Barger, ever heard of him? Nope, doesn't matter. He's going to take it deep. Like I'm so tired of these fans just underestimating some of these teams. Your record is who you are, and like I don't care how many stars you have on the team. Like we're just not as good as them right now.
Yeah.
But that being said, the American League is wide open, and we'll see who we draw. I'd love to be that first or second spot, so we get a home series, but because we just don't play well on the road. But we got to play Detroit again. We have some tough teams on the schedule, though. Most of the teams we're playing are under 500. We do need some help, which is not great and not a great place to be. All right, so we're back after our break. Yeah, I think my computer just shut down, so I had to change locations and find some air conditioning. So here I am. But let me take it from your question. Will the Yankees make the playoffs? Yes. Yeah, I feel pretty confident. I think the league is just wide open and we're trending in the right direction. So feel pretty good about our chances. But, if we slide into end of September, then we're not going to go very far.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think ultimately the Mets do make the playoffs. I just think they're out in round 1 or 2. I don't see this just doesn't have the vibes. This is not 2024. It's a new season. I'm not feeling it. I don't think, unless some of these young kids come out and they're just blowing gas by everybody. But I don't think we don't have the pitching to go very deep.
Yeah. All right. So with the whirlwind that our seasons have been, especially over the last couple of weeks here, Chad, I wanted to pick some highs and lows for each team. What is your high and low for the Mets as they stand right now?
High's got to be Pete with the new home run record. Let me start that over.
Mm-hmm.
With the new home record. Okay, so yeah, I mean for me the high has to be Pete setting the Met home run record. One that was questionable heading into this offseason. Was he going to come back? And to see him come back, just what he's meant to this organization as a whole. He's just a classy guy through and through, wears his heart on his sleeve. He bleeds orange and blue. And I'm really glad they worked out, him coming back. So to see him set that home run record, especially for an organization, I mean, look, we're a pitching organization. We are just historically deep pitching organization. We typically don't just develop, hitters. We just don't, David Wright was probably, the franchise's best, that kind of, stayed with us the whole time. Obviously Darryl, but we rarely develop our own just, 10-year, 12-year star. We don't have many Derek Jeters. We don't have, any of those offensive players to stick out, at least that, came through our system and actually stayed with us. So to see him kind of come out and break it in relatively short order, in just 7 seasons, which is insane. That is pretty remarkable. Yeah, that has to be the high, despite a 2-4 week. That'll be my high.
How about your low?
Where to begin?
You can only choose one, Chat.
I can only choose one. It has to be the 9-run inning against the Braves with a 6-run lead, and you're coming off the win, 13-5 win the night before, and you're feeling pretty good. You got your best pitcher going. You got a 6-run lead. You're at home. You're beating the Braves, and then to just go up and give up 9 runs in an inning and just be dead in the water thereafter. That to me is it, because that was a 500 week and became a 2-4.
Yeah. I mean, those are lows. I mean, you could have gone a lot of different directions with that. Even within the loss.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have so much to choose from. I mean, this is a cornucopia of chaos over here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into Hell's Bells. I mean, dude gets his, walkout music, and that didn't do anything.
Helsley, yeah.
Which is insane. Sorry, was he the first setup man to get the walkout music?
He might have been.
I'm like, come on. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool intro.
Yeah.
And maybe they were trying to do it to boost his confidence. But what the hell? Did you happen to see it?
I didn't see it. No, I've just seen the numbers he's put up. He's coming over.
If you're gonna look at anything, look at the other. You don't want to look at his numbers. But yeah, I mean, he came out. He had the whole. I mean, it was the 8th inning, and he had the whole sort of Edwin Diaz closer thing going on.
Gosh.
Like, they're playing AC/DC's Hell's Bells, and I was like, all right, this is interesting. I mean, the whole stadium goes black, and they got the fire going, and whoops.
Also, wasn't that Trevor Hoffman's closer song?
Ooh, was it? Yeah.
I think it might have been.
I mean, that sounds
like
right.
you said, it's one of those things to boost his confidence because he used to be the closer. And,
yeah,
we're going to give him, a soft landing at Citi Field, but it has not been the pitcher that I think everyone expected it to be.
How about you? What are your highs and lows?
Man, I want to end on a positive note, so I'm going to start with my
Start with the
low.
lows.
And I picked just 2 players because I mean, it's always about production for me and who's doing what. And a guy that I was really high on coming into the beginning of this season, who ended last year really, really strong, was Austin Wells. And you thought he was going to just kind of take over the catching duties, and he had for most of the year. He started the season as the leadoff hitter. He hasn't seen leadoff since then, but he hit a home run to start the year, and you're thinking this guy was just picking up where he left off. But he has just been abysmal. In his last 98 bats, he's got 17 hits, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. He's on base is 224. He's slugging 327, and he's batting 173.
Yikes.
It's awful.
That's not good?
No, that's terrible. He's done a really good job with the pitching staff, and so that's given Aaron Boone, I think, it's made his decisions a lot harder because that backup catcher, Ben Rice, who does have the bat and who has been playing well, who does hit the ball hard, is not an everyday catcher, but he's really had no choice. You have to put the better bat in the lineup because Austin Wells just can't fit right now. For my high, it's Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, Stanton, 35 years old. He's back in the outfield. He's doing all the right things, saying all the right things. He has 8 home runs in his last 20 games. I mean, he has just been a godsend, especially when Judge went down.
Yeah.
The question was, well, who's going to play right field? And if we need, when Judge comes back, how do we keep Stanton's bat in the lineup? Because Judge can't play the outfield. And Stanton has just filled in really, really well. Kudos to him. I don't know where we'd be without Stanton. And it's not even postseason time. This is what you see in postseason Stanton. Usually, it's just locked in. And if this is the guy we're going to get the rest of the season, and a Judge can kind of come back to where he is, like that's only going to be good things for the Yankees.
And it's so important to have somebody like Judge or like Stan doing what he's doing, because he takes the pressure off of Judge, and it's like, and Judge doesn't have to press as much, and maybe he can take that extra day off. If Stan keeps hitting the way he is, and he has been just a nice, I hate the term revelation because it's not like he's been terrible, but like he's just been, it's an unexpected boost when you needed somebody to step up, much like Lindor did last year. He's like, hold my beer, I got this. Yeah. Stan's doing the exact same thing for, Judge goes down, the sky is falling, sell.
Yeah, right.
And Stan's like, oh, I got this, and he's just performs, and to do everything that's asked of him. It's incredible.
Any predictions?
Take 500. That's it. Just give me 500. We got the Mariners today, 3 with the Nats and 3 with the Braves, but 2 since, Sunday to Saturday. I'll take 500 with that.
Yeah, I give us like 5-2, 5-3. The rest of that's more than a week's worth of games. 4-2, 4-3.
Yeah. Do you have double headers stacked in there?
We do probably. Yeah, I think things continue to trend upward. I think the Yankees probably win the majority of the next week's games. All right, Chad, it's been a lot of fun. We'll see you all next week. Yeah, it's gonna get better, Chad. It's gonna get better. I promise.